Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. Today, our peak pose is going to be frog. For some of you, that might be a half frog. So if you can't do the full, no worries, there will be something for you to do. I do not have any special affirmations or themed plan today. This is all just going to be about you getting into the hips, releasing what you need to release, and coming up with any intentions or mantras, manifestations that you need for your practice. For today, if you're going to come into full frog and you know that you cannot come all the way to the floor, a bolster might be very helpful for that, as well as a folded blanket. I'm sitting on one. Blankets can be a nice knee cushion for those of us going into a full variation. And we will come to the floor here in just a moment and do a nice little hip opener with a strap. So you can also use a belt, whatever it is that you have. Stretchy band will also work. And I'm just going to put that to the side. So coming to a nice, comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment. Zip up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Light tuck in the chin. And just come into your space and noticing the body for a moment. Is there anywhere that you could soften a little bit more? So through the jaw, the shoulders, the hips. And then bringing your awareness into that breath. I'm going to start a few rounds here of expanding the rib cage on the inhale and then exhaling. Through that, I'm going to incorporate the Ujjayi pranayama, which is that back of the throat constriction breath, the Darth Vader breath, ocean breath, some people like to call it. You can do that on an inhale, an exhale, or both inhale and exhale. So you choose if you're bringing that in. And on the exhale, don't forget to zip in and tone the belly if you're using that one. So from here, I'm just going to take a nice exhale to prepare. Inhale and expand. And slowly release. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. You can keep the Ujjayi or return to normal breath. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Touching palms together. Exhale, hand and heart center. Creating an intention for you and your practice. Like mine's going to be letting go of things no longer serving me. The material and the non-material. Once you have that set, inhale and reach, 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 reach. Let's get a nice side bend to the left. And you're trying to keep the shoulders and the hips in this alignment here. And also watch, make sure that you're not collapsing through the front shoulder. You want to kind of open that up here if you can. Reaching, breathing, stretching. Now, from here, you can choose your path. You can stay here. You're welcome to come out and take a break. You might choose to side bend deeper. I'm going to choose to open towards the back, and I'm going to pause here for a moment so I can get into that nice bicep line of engagement that goes from the bicep all the way into chest. And you might move the arm around here, finding your optimal spot if you're taking this. And then from here, I'm going to come back to the side. I'm really going to scoop my belly button in. I'm going to round And get a nice little roll here. Forehead in the direction of the knee, but not touching. And really reaching through this arm. And then from here, I'm going to open back up. I'm going to use my obliques, my side abdominals to bring me back up. Inhale, exhale. Let's get that to the other side. Taking that over. Good. Reaching, breathing. So I can't use the ujjayi and talk at the same time, but you can go there anytime. So then the choice is yours where you go from here. Do you stay here? Do you choose to side bend deeper, keeping both sits bones rooted? Do you choose to open up a little bit here and pause with me? Remember, you can move that arm around, finding an optimal stretch, optimal spot. And then from here, I'm going to come back to the side. I'm going to scoop my belly button in, and I'm going to round. C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knee, but not touching. And when you're ready, we'll open, using those obliques again, your side abs to bring you back up. Good. We'll take the hands to the knees here. We're going to take this into a spinal roll, and I'm just going to really let that pelvis roll around here. I'm using my arms and my knees to get just a little bit of leverage here, going maybe a little bit more opening. You get your shoulders into it if you want to. So this for me feels really good on the back. This is a nice one to do here too if you get stuck creatively and you need some ideas or to try to get unstuck. This really taps into that second sacral chakra. And let's reverse that direction, which we'll get into today as we get into the hip. Oh, my back feels better already. One more round. Good. And then just shake that out. We're going to come onto our backs now. And I'm going to encourage you to bring your strap with you. And I'm just going to use this blanket here as a little neck cushion. You don't have to do that here, but since we're not going into an inversion, then it's safe to have that if you want that. So I'm going to come down here. And then I'm going to take my strap and I'm just going to hold it here for a moment. And I'm letting my knees bend about hip width apart. And I'm just going to windshield wiper. My belly button is in. I'm protecting the low back. Spine's going into a little bit of rotation here. Okay. Now reconnect with that intention that you just made for yourself. Okay. And when you're ready, good. Let's start with the right foot into the strap. Okay. Now let's do this dynamically here too, since this is kind of our first larger movement or stretch of the day. So I'm just going to take this forward and give it a tug, and forward and give it a tug, and forward and tug. So you can choke up here a little bit. Keep a micro bend in this knee. And your body will always let you know when you shouldn't come back anymore. Now, I want a little bit of a deeper stretch here. So I'm going to take my toes more towards my face. If you don't want or need that, that's okay. And so these won't be held for too long. They're just to kind of get the body used to what we're doing, getting the juices flowing. Speaking of juices flowing, back off a little bit here. Take both straps into the right hand and just go into some controlled little circles here. Your belly button is in, your hips stay grounded. And this is just getting that synovial fluid working and lubricating that joint, the femur coming into the acetabulum of your pelvic girdle here. And then let's reverse that. This is also kind of sneaky core work. And then when you're ready, good, we'll take that back up. I'm going to choke up a little bit here, but not too much to begin. We're going to take the leg out to the right. And we're going to do this one dynamically as well. So both hips stay grounded. We'll take it to the right and come back up. And to the right and back up to the right. You can hold it out there. Now you can choke up a little bit here. You can do a gentle tug towards the shoulders. I'm going to encourage you to keep a micro bend in the knee again. And if you don't have a strap, you can totally do this holding on to your foot, your toe, supporting the outside of the leg. Just a little bit less effort when you have a strap. That's all it is. And then from here, when we're ready, we're going to come back up. Good. Extend the other leg long, switch out your hands. Good. This one, you've got options. And I'm just going to scoot out a little bit here, just so I don't accidentally hit my wall here. But I'm going to kind of arc over. And then from here, I'm just going to move this leg forward and back. So when you do this movement, you should already kind of feel where your sweet spot might be. And then find that sweet spot and hold it over there. Good. Now I'm just getting about probably not quite 45, a little bit more than 45, but I'm not taking it over into a full twist. We're going to twist in a moment. I'm just letting all of that fascia get a good stretch here on the side. And if it would feel good to you to kind of rub this, if you're really tight here, so if you walk a lot, if you run, if you bike, this tends to get really tight up in here. And when you're ready, we'll come off. Good. And we'll come back in. Let's take that to the other side. So I'm just going to switch out my feet, scoot over a little bit more this way. Good. So from here, let's take that dynamic movement, stretching strap in each hand. Take it forward, come back and tug. And forward, come back and tug. Forward, come back, we'll hold. So micro bend in the knee. You can take the toes towards the face. Come back to the breath. We're always returning to intention. Always returning the breath. We'll release here. Good. Both straps into the left hand. Take that into some circles. Belly button is in, supporting the hips. The larger the circle, the harder it is. And let's reverse. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, good. From here, we're going to take the left leg out to the left. We'll do this one dynamically. So to the left and back in. And to the left and back in. To the left and find your little sweet spot. Keeping a little micro bend in that knee. Both hips are grounded. And from here, when you're ready, good, I'm going to extend this leg. We're going to switch sides. So from here, good, I'm going to cross over a little bit. I'm just going to move forward and back. So again, getting a sense of where your sweet spot might be. Good, and then finding it. So maybe 45 degrees, maybe a little bit more than 45 degrees, but not quite a full twist. And then if you want to kind of take spider fingers is what I call it, and kind of rub on the outside here, if that would feel good to you. It feels great to me. You can take that. Good. And when you're ready, we'll bring that up. We'll remove that foot. We are done with the strap for this session. So I'm just going to move that where it's going to be out of the way. And you can wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here side to side. So we're going to come to our first hold here. We're going to do this in a figure 4 twist. So first, I'm going to cross my right ankle over the left knee. This might be it for some of you, but I am going to bring my figure 4 in here for just a moment. Just getting a little bit of a deeper stretch. It helps prepare the hip for frog. Breathing through it. And then from here, when you're ready, release. Now we're going to take this into a twist. So I'm going to leave my ankle right there on that left knee. Good. I'm going to let that whole set, that whole figure 4, come all the way over to the left. I want my shoulder grounded. We'll be here for 2 minutes. You can keep your head centered or turn towards the right if that feels good to you. So coming back to Ujjayi. Coming back to intention. And so if you took my intention of letting go of things not serving you, what is something in your home or office, something material, so it's an actual object that's there, but it's no longer serving you, but it's no longer serving you. And that can be something that holds some kind of memory. It can be trash, it can be, a stack of magazines that's been collecting over a few months. So whatever it is that's not serving you, picture that in your mind for a moment. And then from here, you can undo the leg first if you need to, or again, using your axe, bringing yourself as a whole unit, coming back up. We'll undo and we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here for a moment. We're going to take that all to the other side. So now my left ankle is going to come on top of my right knee. You can stay here or you can bring this in. Good. Preparing this side. Breathing through it. Good. And then we'll release. Good. From here, we're going to take that twist now to the right. So big inhale, exhale. We'll bring that whole unit over to the right. I'm trying to keep left shoulder grounded. You can look straight up or look to the left. Now come back to that object we talked about on the other side. If it's no longer serving you, maybe contemplate why you still have it. or how you're going to let it go. And how you let that go depends on what it is. Maybe, if it's trash, you put it in the trash can. If it's recyclable, maybe we put it in a recycle bin. If it's sellable, maybe we try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Maybe you want to donate it to a Goodwill or some other organization. Good, and then from here, good. Head will come back to center if it's not already there. One leg at a time, or using your abs to bring you back in as a single unit. We'll undo, and we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Good. So we're going to come into a happy baby. This is going to be another 2-minute hold. So if you're someone that needs to do a half happy baby, then after 1 minute, it kind of looks like this, then we'll just switch sides. Okay. Those of you that are following me, we're going to come into a full happy baby or happy adult. So here's your happy baby. Okay. So nice and long from crown to tail. Good. You can hold the outside, inside of the feet or yogi toe. Okay. If this isn't for you today, let the knees bend and come into a happy adult. Okay. So, or you can, just do the half. So from here, good. We'll come into the half happy baby. We're going to watch the clock here for those of you that are doing the half. You have to do half happy adult if you need to do that. Breathing. And maybe just lifting up a little bit periodically and then sinking back down in there. This one feels good, but it can become very intense the longer you're in it. So be mindful of everything that's going on here. We're still zipped up from pubic bone to behind the navel. Now focus on something non-material that's not serving you. Something non-material that's not serving you. Good. We're at the halfway point. So if you need to switch sides, this is where you'll do it. Just gonna lift up a little bit and bring that back down. Good. Gently release. Good. And just take one leg at a time forward here. We're going to get a full body stretch after that last one. So reaching behind you and release from fingertips to toes. Sometimes those old hip flexors just need to have a little stretch. Good. And then when you're ready, carefully bend both knees rolling over to your right or left side. We're going to come up to a seat here. We're going to find ourselves in a Sphinx or seal pose, for those of you that want to do that one. So this one, lately, I've really been enjoying the extra padding or a blanket underneath my hips. So I'm going to bring that back in here. Good. I'm just going to take my blanket folded just like this little thickness here. I want it nice and flat. Okay. So just a real quick demo here. Remember, this blanket, this cushioning, towel, whatever you're using is 100% optional. Some people like it, some people don't, no worries. But if you're going to use it or try it, you want to pull the frontal hip bones here right along the edge. Right along the edge. So for Sphinx, this is a lower back bend for some of you that are going to do that one. Your legs are about hip width apart. Your feet don't come off the floor. Elbows are down by your side. On an inhale, belly button is in. You're going to press up. So I'm not hanging in the shoulders here, which is this. I'm pressing out of there and taking my chest forward. That's your Sphinx. Those of you that are going to do seal, good. You can take your hands a little forward into the side of the shoulders, and then same thing. You're going to press up. Shoulders are in their pockets, so we're not here. And then your chest might come a little bit more forward. This requires a lot more strength. So choose where you're going to go here, Sphinx or seal. 2 minutes. Good. Now that non-material object that I had you picture that's not serving you, how can you let that go? How can you let that go? Is it a feeling you can let go on the out breath? Is it something that needs to be journaled? Is it a work or a personal relationship that you just need to say goodbye to? So how can you let that go? What it is depends on how you let it go. Belly button stays in, stay with the breath. Good, and then from here, come down out of there. Good. We'll take a little crocodile position here. A wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to push back into a child's pose unless this feels awesome to you and you want to stay here longer. But I'm going to take my hands under my shoulder. I'm going to press up. I'm going to bend my knees and come back. Knees are as wide as the shoulders or as wide as your mat or somewhere in between. Good. And then when you're ready, good. We're going to come up and we're going to come into the full frog now that our hips are a little bit more open. So I'm going to prepare for this by building some extra cushion for my knees because I'm on a hard surface here. Good, so there's folded blanket 1. Folded blanket 2. Good. Now, I will demo half frog here real quick for those of you that need that option. So half frog, you won't need to prop anything underneath you unless you just want to. Let's say we're going to do the right side first. So I'm just going to bring up my right knee right in line with the hip. Good. And this leg can be bent in or it can be straight out. What you do with this angle is just kind of going to depend on you. And then this is where you'll be here for about, I'd say a minute and 45 seconds. We're going to do full frog here for 3.5 minutes. So I'm about a minute 45 there, and then you'll switch sides. Those of you that are coming into the full frog, let me also get this going. I like to use my bolster here for support. And if you are tight in the hip, have low back issues, I also recommend a bolster. And if you're longer in the torso or something like that, you can always put blankets on top of here. If you don't have a sturdy cushion or a bolster, you can always just, stack a bunch of blankets on top of each other. You can put blocks underneath those blankets to lift it up a little bit higher. So always just kind of find ways to work with what you have. Good. So from here, I'm going to start about a tabletop position. I'm going to turn my feet out to the side and I'm going to slide out here. Now, again, I want hips and knees to be in this alignment. You can also take your feet in here. That's one version, or keep it out this way, you choose. I'm going to come down here. Good. I'm also going to kind of watch the timer here because halfway through, you also want to be able to turn the neck to the other side. And some of you I know are not doing the full, you're going to do the half anyway, and you need to know when to do so. Pull this back just a little bit. So you want to make sure that you don't slide the hips forward, which is common. You want to keep those hips in line with the knees. Yes, it is hard, but that is the form and the posture. Now from here, if you can, what's something else? Something else of your choice. It could be anything, material, non-material, emotional, what have you. It's not serving you. Maybe there's probably a plethora of things not serving you if you live in this society. But think of 1 or 2 more. Coming back to the breath. And then begin to think of ways that you could let those things go. How could you let those things go? Goodness, we start to come up on the halfway point. This is where you're going to start to make changes. So go from one side to the other, or just turn the head from one side to the other. If you've been doing this the way that I'm doing it and you want to try it for the last half, bringing the knees in here, which is what I'm going to do, then you can try that version. Maybe you're starting to be a little bit more open and you don't need as much support. I do. So I'm going to bring this back in. So the support is there to support you only as long as you need the support. As you become more open, you may not need as much support, and then you don't have to use those things. Again, I felt myself kind of scooting up a little bit here. You want hips and knees to be in that alignment wherever you're going. Returning the breath. Good. And from here, when you're ready, good. Based on where you went with that, it's going to determine how you come out. I'm going to take one leg long at a time. I'm going to roll over to my side. I'm going to put this bolster back out of the way here. I'm going to find another little crocodile position. And maybe a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle of this. So when you're ready, good. We're going to come onto our backs. We're going to do one more twist here before we come into Shavasana today. So I'm just going to do that. So as you're here, again, if it would feel good, getting a windshield wiper, let your body do so. Otherwise, I'm going to take my knees in the tabletop position. We're just going to do a basic supine twist. So my knees or legs are together. Good. Arms are out to the side. I'm going to take my knees over to my left. Good. Look to the right. Breathe and expand, coming back to your intentions. Letting things go if you took mine or whatever it is you chose for yourself. And then from here, one leg at a time, we'll come back to center. And then we will take that to the other side. So reset your knees. We're in tabletop position. We'll take those knees over towards the right. Oh, getting into my tighter side. Good. And breathe, returning to intention. And when you're ready, one leg at a time, we're using those abs to bring you back in. Feet can come down, maybe a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We're going to come into Shavasana from here. So I'm going to come up and refold my blankets because I'm going to use them. I'm going to fold this one. I'll use this one as a neck pillow. This one I'm going to fold and use as a grounding tool, kind of like a little bit of a weight across my belly. And then as I come here, I'm going to bring my bolster in. Make my low back and hip flexors feel nice and comfy. So I'm going to be here. Good. And then the blanket, I'm just going to take that. There's different ways you can do this blanket. If you want something a little bit more grounding, I personally like it this way. There's other people that like the groundedness from having it more this way that covers the heart all the way through the midsection here. So it's just an option if you want that, never a requirement. Some people don't like it at all. And then when you're ready, get settled in. I'll leave you here for a few moments, coming to the breath, returning to intention. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of fingers and toes. Maybe running thumbs along the edges of the fingertips. Choosing stillness or taking knees into the chest. Choosing to keep the upper body grounded or maybe lifting up into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any other props out of the way that you may have used during your Shavasana time. Taking arms long behind you, legs long in front of you, and reach and lengthen again from fingertips to toes. Point and flex through the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, rolling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. Whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for you in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here, and when you're ready, we'll press yourself up to a comfortable seat where we begin our practice. And then just taking a moment to notice how you feel. How do the hips feel? Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Looking up there at those hands. Exhale, hands and heart center. Coming back to that intention you made for yourself one more time. Letting go if you took mine, or whatever it is that you chose. We'll take them to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to the lips for good and kind words, and to the heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe, may you stay well, may you have a wonderful day, evening, week, month ahead. Thank you so much. Namaste.